looking deep down the left side. Mendeville into the end zone. Touchdown! Down the sideline, still 40, 20 to the house.
And the players streaming from the sideline to celebrate with 17 seconds left.
Welcome, everybody, to BVarsity Live for Thursday, February the 4th. I'm Zach Ewing with Trevor Horn and the fabulous Lina Washington from KGET. She's the sports director there. She's joining us. As you can see, we're in a little bit of a makeshift studio here. Our studio is being used during our time. We threw a fit, we kicked, we screamed, and they just said,
I didn't kick, I just screamed.
Well, you don't. Yeah, if you kicked, you'd probably throw your back at it again. So, yeah, we're just.
I can't even feel this leg, so there's no kicking in it anyway. So.
Wow.
So if we kicked you in that leg, then that would be okay.
You want to find out?
Yeah,
get off my lawn.
So anyway, we're here with Lina. We visited with John Treach a couple weeks ago, which was his swan song. Luckily for us, that is not what we're doing with you. This is not the goodbye.
No.
But we are going to talk some winter prep sports and maybe some CSUB with you and things like that, things that have been going on in the sports world in Bakersfield. First of all, how are things at KGET?
Things are good. I'm actually coming up on my 3-year anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
Work anniversary here. Thank you. And things are going well. I actually just got back from a cruise to the Bahamas a week ago.
Non-work related, I assume.
Non-work related. Didn't have to bring any gear or anything like that. It was actually nice to kind of unplug. And the Wi-Fi was pretty shoddy anyway, so I barely kept up with tweets. I was kind of, part of me though, because I'm weird like that, I was like, I'm kind of sad that I'm missing the New Mexico State basketball game at Cal State Bakersfield, which turned out to be quite the show.
Yeah.
So,
yes, indeed, yeah.
But yeah, the Bahamas were awesome, and we're just getting ready for more basketball.
Yeah, I think you know you have a sickness when you're on vacation, and you're like, man, I wonder how that West-South game is going, you know.
Well, yeah.
Well, you know, to that same extent, kind of like when I was out for 2 weeks with this injury, it's like I was sitting there and I'm on the recliner every day and I'm like, you know, I would really like to be out at a game. I would really like to be on the show. Like, how doped up was I when I called in 2 weeks ago, sitting on the recliner because I was just so bored watching the show.
You were so doped up that you said the Sacramento Kings were going to win 45 games. Although, wait a minute, you said that not on drugs too.
Sober.
They had a shot and then they went and blew it again.
They never had a shot. They never had a shot.
They could
was
have
a
had a
thing.
shot. How are the Suns doing?
Let's just stare in silence.
I never brought up
we're
the
not gonna talk
Suns.
about the
Okay,
Suns.
I accept that we are a dumpster fire. All right, it wasn't as bad. I mean,
Hey,
it's
let's
worse
go
than.
get Steve Nash.
Hey, I got a question for you though. Seriously, your 3-year anniversary at KGET is coming up.
Yeah.
Has it been in any way like Groundhog Day, where it just seems like a bad year over and over and over again?
That would be such a great answer that I could brew up if I knew what Groundhog Day, if I saw the movie. But like I said, when we ran into each other earlier this week, I've seen the first maybe 10, 15 minutes, and that's pretty much all I need to see because it just repeats over and over again.
Lena, when you got into town, did you have to watch for that first step? Because
It's a doozy. Yeah. No, you didn't know.
See?
Right over her
Nothing.
head. Right. Yeah. We told her we were going to do this. We were going to play Sonny and Cher.
They're going to bully me.
You put your little hand in mine, and
Yep.
Boys, you're playing yesterday's song.
Yep.
No, it repeats itself, but it doesn't repeat itself. We're going to have
when you're going around town,
like a
do you
late
ever
night
have to
post
repeat
shift
yourself,
sports screening.
Don't drive angry.
Yeah. Or that you want some flapjacks. You know.
I really liked The Life Aquatic with Bill Murray. I know that Bill Murray movie.
I actually saw that movie on a Christmas day after we ate at Denny's.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Cool story, bro. Now, so seriously though, in 3 years, so your first year here, was that your Independence boys teams were? Their boys basketball team was 32-1, or was that?
Yeah, I believe so. The first games that Mark Haas had me go out and shoot, I went out to Independence. I think they might have been playing. I feel like they might have been playing Centennial because that was when they were in the Southwest Yosemite League. That's when Alec Check went to
Derek Check went to
Derek Check went to
Alec
Independence.
wasn't in high school yet, but yeah.
Right. Okay.
As well as Brandon Robinson and Malcolm Johnson went to Independence.
Yes. So that was my first game. And then he had me go to South for a minute. And then I think I might have made it to Garces. And at that point, my phone had died. And so I had no way of GPSing where to go. And I was like going over the bluffs.
South High?
Well, no, I was at Garces.
Oh, I see.
But I was
Yeah.
going over the bluffs. So I was like, this is very Zodiac
Yeah.
movie-esque, and I have no idea where I'm going. And, you know, in the east side, you make one wrong turn,
Right.
and you're
Well, it's not
somewhere
just
you don't want
that
to
first
be.
look that you take. And I remember that first time I was on the bluffs and I looked over and I went, wow, that is industry down there.
Yeah.
It's a very surreal look.
It
If
is.
you've never been around oil derricks, I mean, it's
wild.
It
incredible.
is-
I don't
it
know
is
if you
cool.
remember your first days here.
What my first assignment here was the Garces Holiday Soccer Festival, and I wore a T-shirt. That was a mistake because it was like
I've
70.
made a huge mistake.
It was like a high of 70 degrees that day, and I was like, you know what, this is great. I live in California now. I'm gonna wear a T-shirt out to my assignment. Da 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 da. I was out there for like an hour, and the sun went down.
Bad idea.
One of the worst days of my life.
Yeah, I think I covered Garces soccer, and I was wearing like flats, and I
Right.
was on the grass, and I immediately regretted that decision because my feet were frozen, wet, and I pretty sure I got sick after
Well,
that.
do you remember the conversation we had last night where, like, I actually went out before I had this injury. I went out and decided to go get gloves. I got a new scarf. I was like, you know, I'm going to go and rock it and be nice and warm for soccer. And now,
Yeah, now I have to do all the soccer. Thanks a lot.
yeah, because I can't walk a
Can't move.
grandstand until surgery. I can't do
Yeah.
any.
It
of that
was
kind of
cold
stuff.
last night. That's one of the colder nights I can remember last night
I
covering
remember,
the soccer
I
game.
remember last year I covered Independence East girls out at Independence, and I decided to sit on the Independence bleachers.
Yeah, the sitting on the bleachers is a mistake.
But
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, don't
but-
do that.
But you know what's funny is soccer parents get it because there was like
They're
four.
prepped.
Well, there was 4 different huddles, and what did they all have?
Propane
A
heaters and
heater,
blankets.
The heater
yeah.
and blankets,
Blankets.
hot chocolate.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
By the way,
they're
ready.
a smart group, man.
A great game that we saw last night out at Frontier. That's what you should have done. Is come out
I
to the
was
soccer
looking
field.
at the scoreboard. I said
Yeah.
it's scoreless. I might as well just go out and do it. But I didn't have my tripod, and for me, I prefer to shoot soccer
Right.
on my tripod because you know you get on the sidelines and kids are running, coaches are running, and
Sure.
you can't really get a good
Plus,
line
if you
of
weren't
sight.
prepared for the cold, it wasn't going to work anyway. But
Yeah.
Frontier ends up scoring. Kristen Marquardt scored in overtime, and they took over first place.
What a day for her, man. That's
Oh, I know.
incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. My original question for you was that Independence team, and I don't know, they beat Compton, came back to beat them in the first round of the state playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Terrific game. Do you remember them enough to compare them to this year's Ridgeview team, which also just has one loss?
I don't really remember too much because I came in like towards the back end of the
Right.
season.
That's
I think I went up and covered the. Did I go up for Fresno? I think I went to Selland for the.
and they won in
Valley
overtime, I believe.
Championships.
Mission Oak.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, or no, I was not there actually. I was here while Mark Haas was off, and we sent a photographer up there because Ridgeview girls were also up there as well with
Right.
Erica McCall.
Right.
So I don't really remember too much about them. I remember the atmosphere at that Centennial Independence game that night. I haven't seen it since at Independence. So
Right,
I mean,
sure. So
what can you do?
Yeah, we in my mind, I compare those two teams. I guess just because of their records. Ridgeview is 22-1.
22-1.
Playing West tonight.
Yeah.
A team that's given them a battle a couple of
Yeah.
times, looking
Yeah.
to go to 23-1.
They beat them by 4 points, 3 points, and 14 points. I mean, those are 2 of the closest games they've had.
But
other
the
than
14
Yeah,
points,
that
that
was-
game they were losing with 5 minutes to go.
Right.
So
The
that-
tide
yeah.
changed really quickly. In that
Exactly.
one.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens tonight. But they're going to go for 23-1. Independence finished the year, I think, 34-2, losing in the second round of the state playoffs. Now, a little bit different. Independence, I think, had a tougher schedule. They played in a better league, so
Right.
maybe what they did was more impressive. But I'll tell you what, this Ridgeview team, pretty special.
Very special. They have a lot of depth, which has helped them. Obviously, Jordan Roberts, Justin McCall, they're the headliners. But you got good support from Pardeep and
Well, you bring in guys like
the
Isaiah
Isaiahs.
Green in.
Yeah.
You look at this team, and they really are. When you look at the big three, you bring in Pardeep. Luke Clark is one of the best shot blockers in
Yeah.
the central section. He does a really good job. Donnie Darden does a good job kind of doing the dirty work underneath. This is a very deep team, and that's the one thing, and I think we've always looked at him, is that even when those big three with Isaiah Martin or McCall or Jordan Roberts, they do anything, if either one of them have an off night, the others can pick up the slack. The one thing I want to see them do is kind of, with their size, maybe go inside a little bit more against a team that maybe is kind of pressing them on the outside and
Right.
force the ball inside a little bit and maybe using the athleticism to go in, because if they can do that, I mean, that's really an unstoppable team here in the central section. When you look at D2, it's really hard to kind of gauge them at the state level because you don't know what teams like Sac High, a team that's got one loss right now, you don't know if they're going to go up in the open in NorCal. You don't know if Modesto Christian's going to go up. And you look at South, in SoCal, you got Santa Barbara, you got a team out of Chino Hills. let me look at the list real quick.
But Chino, Chino
Kearney-
Hills High School.
No, not Chino
yeah.
Hills. No, it's Elia out of Chino
Okay.
Hills. You look at Kearney out of San Diego section, and even Lemoore here in the Central section. You look at 4 or 5 different teams in the South, and you look at Ridgeview, and you go, okay, they might. I mean, this might be a team that if they can,
Can make a run.
They
sure.
can make
Right.
they really can legitimately make a run.
Now, having said that, I think the section playoffs will be a challenge for them once they get to the semifinals and
D2
finals.
this year in
Very deep.
boys is as competitive, if not better, than D1 this year by and large. When you look at Hanford, when you look at Lemoore, you look at Independence, you look at West, you look at obviously Ridgeview. I mean, down
Mission
the line,
Oak, yeah.
Mission Oak. I mean, it is a really good field, and it's going to be really interesting. We got 2.5 weeks left.
Just about,
Before
A
the-
regular season. You got a good game tonight. Ridgeview still has to play Independence one more time in league. It's going to be really interesting to see what this team does, and that is our marquee team right now.
Yeah. I mean, that one loss is kind of an anomaly as to how they played so badly. Obviously, their schedule leading up to it, they played back-to-back games.
Right.
Well,
and
it
that was a
it
very
was
good
the night
team.
before the
Yeah,
league
right.
opener, and you had to kind of figure, what are you going to do? You're up on the road against a team that,
But the score was just so.
Yeah, that's
that
exactly
was-
it. I mean, that team might, Corona Roosevelt, Eastvale Roosevelt, we're talking about, might be better than Ridgeview. They're not 21 points better than them or whatever. And
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think.
well, and they lost last Tuesday to Corona Centennial. So
Whom they had just defeated when they
Yes.
played Ridgeview the first time, so they were
Sure.
playing very good ball at that time too.
Right.
It was interesting. I was talking to now Frontier Athletic Director Brad Harris, who used to be the Ridgeview Athletic Director, and he was there when Jordan Roberts' older brother Robert was playing.
Robert Roberts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's funny, but he was the single best high school basketball player I think I've seen play live, and I've seen Drew Holiday play in high school. So we're talking. I mean, that's high praise, but I'm not kidding. I mean, and I've seen Tyron Wallace and Robert Roberts when he was on was absolutely phenomenal. Unfortunately, didn't have the grades to get into a 4-year school into Casper College in Wyoming. Didn't make it there, and so it's sort of one of those sad missed opportunity stories. But Jordan is kind of cut of that cloth, and if he can be anywhere close to the senior year his brother had, Ridgeview's in for a treat next year too. Hey, we got to take a break. We'll be right back more with Lina here on BVarsity Live right after this.